The station hung above a blue gas giant, turning slowly like a tired guard who never slept. It was old, patched, and crowded with beings from many worlds. Metal plates did not match in color. Some corridors were wide and bright, others narrow and dim. This place was called Haven Ring, and it stood far from Earth, far from comfort, and close to danger. Aaron stood inside a small armor bay near the outer decks. The room smelled of oil and cold air. Tools floated in low gravity, held in place by thin magnetic lines. Aaron waited without speaking, his helmet resting under one arm. He wore standard human armor, but it was old and scratched. One shoulder plate hung loose, clicking softly when he moved. Many on the station saw humans as fragile. Aaron had learned to accept the looks, the quiet jokes, and the low trust. Humans were new to the wider galaxy. Their ships were simple. Their bodies were soft compared to scaled hides or plated skin. Aaron did not argue, he did not explain. He just did his duty. Alia entered the bay with a small tool case. She was not human. Her skin was pale gray, smooth like stone polished by water. Her eyes were large and dark, built to see fine detail. She worked as an armor technician. She had fixed armor for many species, but humans were still strange to her. Too many joints, too many weak points. She stopped in front of Aaron and looked at his shoulder. "That plate will fall off in combat," she said in slow trade speech. Aaron nodded. "I know. No time. Patrol starts soon." Alia sighed softly. Humans always said that. She opened her case and reached for a clamp tool. "Step closer." Aaron moved forward and turned his back to her. She worked with careful hands, locking the plate back into place. The metal was thin compared to alien combat armor, but she knew humans relied more on movement than defense. Still, this armor had seen too much use. "You should request a new set," Alia said. Aaron shook his head. "This one works." As she worked, her eyes moved across the armor. Burn marks. Deep scratches. Impacts that should have broken bone. Yet Aaron stood straight, breathing steady. He did not complain. That was another human habit. Pain was something they kept inside. When Alia finished the shoulder, she noticed a gap near Aaron's side. The chest plate was slightly misaligned. She frowned. "Hold still." Beneath the edge of the armor, she saw skin. Human skin was lighter than hers, marked with old scars, but something else caught her attention. There was a tattoo. It was dark and uneven, not clean like art. Lines crossed each other in sharp shapes. Circles, broken marks, and symbols that felt heavy to look at. It did not glow. It did not move. Yet Alia felt uneasy, like standing too close to a sealed door. She leaned closer without thinking. "What is that?" she asked. Aaron was still for a moment. Then he shifted slightly, and the armor slid back into place, hiding the tattoo. "Old mark," he said. "From where?" "Home." Alia studied his face from the side. Humans had expressive faces, but Aaron's was calm, almost empty. No pride, no shame, just distance. "It does not look decorative," Alia said. "It is not." Before she could ask more, a deep alarm echoed through the station. Red light flashed across the bay walls. The sound was sharp and urgent, cutting through every thought. "All personnel to stations," the system voice announced. "Unknown vessels detected. Repeat, unknown vessels detected." Alia's hands froze. Unknown meant trouble. Real trouble. Aaron reached for his helmet. His movements changed. He was still calm, but now there was focus, like a blade pulled from its case. "You were assigned to outer patrol," Alia said quickly. "Yes. That sector is weak."
Aaron placed the helmet on and sealed it. Then he looked at her.
"Most weak places are." He turned and left the bay at a steady pace. Not rushed, not slow. Alia watched him go, her mind still on the tattoo. She had seen many marks across the galaxy. Rank signs, clan symbols, war brands. That one felt different. It felt like a warning written on skin. She closed her case and hurried toward the main corridor. The station shook as weapons powered up. Somewhere far away, metal screamed as shields took their first hit. In the command hall, officers shouted orders in many languages. Screens showed dark shapes moving through space, ships without clear markings. No known design. Aaron joined his unit near an outer airlock. The team was mixed species. Tall, short, heavy, light. Most wore thick armor and carried heavy weapons. Aaron's rifle was small by comparison. One of the soldiers glanced at him and snorted. Earthborn again. Aaron did not react. The unit leader spoke quickly. "Enemy ships are launching pods. They aim to board. Our job is to slow them." "Slow them," someone repeated. "Not stop." "Yes. Slow." The corridor lights dimmed as power shifted. The station groaned like a living thing under pressure. Aaron checked his rifle, then his armor seals. Everything was ready. Alia stood behind a barrier near the corridor entrance, assigned to emergency repairs. She should not have been here. Her hands shook, but she stayed. She wanted to see. She needed to know. The first impact hit the station hard. The floor jumped. A sound like thunder rolled through the metal walls. Dust fell from the ceiling. Boarding confirmed, the system voice said. Multiple breaches. The unit moved forward. Aaron took position near a narrow junction, a place where enemies would be forced close. He chose it without orders. The unit leader hesitated, then nodded. Fine. Hold that point. Alia watched him disappear around the corner. The first enemy came through the smoke fast and loud. It was tall, with jointed limbs and armor that looked grown, not built. It fired wildly. Aaron waited. When the enemy stepped into clear view, Aaron fired once. The shot was precise. The enemy fell, or followed. Aaron moved with short steps, staying low, using the walls. He did not shout. He did not waste shots. Each movement had purpose. The corridor filled with noise and light. Weapons fire burned the air. Armor cracked. Blood of many colors stained the floor. Aaron took a hit to the side. The armor held, barely. He did not slow. Alia listened to the combat feed, her breath tight. Reports came fast. They are holding, someone said. Holding how? Too well. Another impact shook the station. Somewhere, something broke. Aaron felt pain in his shoulder as the loose plate shifted. He pressed against the wall and adjusted his stance. The tattoo under his armor felt warm, like an old memory stirring.
He ignored it.
They wanted this corridor. They wanted through. Aaron stepped forward into the smoke. When the fight finally paused, the corridor was silent except for the hiss of damaged systems. Aaron stood alone at the junction. Enemy bodies lay still around him. The unit leader's voice came through his comm, strained and unsure. Status? Aaron looked around. Then he answered, still standing. Alia closed her eyes in relief, but the feeling did not last. New alert flashed across the command screens. Larger, enemy, force inbound. Targeting Haven Ring directly. The battle was only beginning. Far from the station, unseen by all, the enemy fleet adjusted course. Their sensors had picked up something unexpected. Human. And somewhere deep in the station, beneath layers of metal and silence, an old mark waited to be noticed again. The station shuddered again as enemy boarding pods slammed into the outer hall. Sparks flew across the decks and alarms shrieked in every corridor. Smoke filled some areas, and the stench of burnt circuitry made the air thick. Every species on Haven Ring was on edge. Fear and confusion moved faster than the incoming enemies. Aaron moved through the damaged corridor with his rifle ready. His armor was scratched and dented from the earlier fight, but he adjusted each plate as he went, checking straps and joints. The human knew that armor was only as good as the person wearing it. Each movement had to count. Every step had to be precise. Alia followed from a distance, carrying a small repair kit. She kept low, using shadows and walls as cover. Her heart pounded, not from fear of the enemy, but from watching Aaron. He was calm, almost unnatural in his focus. Each enemy that appeared in the smoke met his precise aim. He did not shout. He did not rush. He just moved with efficiency that made her stomach twist. The first group of boarding enemies tried to push past a damaged bulkhead. They were large, with plated arms and glowing eyes, weapons swinging wildly. Aaron waited until the closest enemy stepped into range. Then he fired. One shot. The enemy fell with a heavy clang. Another stepped forward, unaware of the second human standing behind the first. Another single shot. Down it went. Alia realized the corridor was too narrow for numbers. The enemy could not move freely. Aaron used this, funneling them into his trap. He was small, fast, and almost invisible in the chaos. A distant explosion shook the station. A ceiling panel collapsed nearby. Aaron barely ducked. Dust and debris filled the air. He breathed steadily. Nothing wasted. An alien soldier stumbled toward him, covered in blood. It looked at Aaron and hesitated, then whispered something in its language before collapsing. Aaron did not flinch. He stepped over the body without touching it. He knew fear could be worse than death. The tattoo on his side, hidden beneath armor, warmed as the fight continued. Aaron felt it, but he did not think about it. It was not decoration. It was history. It was survival. And it reminded him of what humans were capable of when pressed to the edge. Alia finally caught up. She slid into cover behind a support beam and pulled out a compact welder to repair a damaged shield generator. Sparks flew as she worked, the noise blending with gunfire and screams. She peeked around the corner, watching Aaron move like a shadow. She had seen soldiers fight before, but never like this. Never human like this. More enemies approached, faster this time, coordinated and ruthless. They tried to flank Aaron. He noticed instantly. He adjusted his stance, turned his shoulder, and fired shots with quiet precision. Each enemy went down before they could react. One of the enemy units was larger, heavily armored, and moving fast. Aaron fired twice. The shots struck metal but did not stop it. The creature roared, advancing. Aaron ran to the side, dodging a powerful swing. His armor absorbed a hit to the leg. He gritted his teeth and returned fire. Another hit. The enemy faltered, then collapsed against the wall. Alia ran forward to check the equipment she was fixing. The generator was stable again. She looked at Aaron, who was standing in the middle of the corridor, breathing steadily, surveying the bodies of enemies around him. He looked like he had seen this before, like he had done this many times. A young alien recruit approached, frightened and trembling. Aaron waved him to stay back. The recruit froze. Aaron then motioned him to follow, slowly leading him out of the corridor toward a safer position. Each step was careful, each movement controlled. Suddenly, the station shook violently. A pod had breached the next sector, and more enemies poured in. The sound of metal tearing filled the corridor. Aaron paused, listening, sensing the best path forward. He stepped into a side passage with the recruit trailing, unseen by the main enemy force. Alia followed, repairing minor damage on the walls to prevent collapse as she moved. She whispered to herself. "Stay safe," she thought. "Stay safe." Aaron led the recruit to a junction where a few other human and alien soldiers had gathered. They were scared, shaken, but alive. Aaron checked his ammo, then adjusted his armor again. Small movements, careful hands. Every adjustment made him more ready. An older alien officer, limping from a previous fight, saw the tattoo when Aaron shifted slightly. Recognition flickered in his eyes. He whispered to another officer about Forbidden War records. "Humans like this," he said, "were trained in wars that should have been forgotten. Their marks were warnings." He did not need to. He only needed to know the enemy. The corridor was narrow, but he used it like a weapon. Every corner was a trap. Every shadow was a chance to strike. The enemy came again, rushing in larger numbers. Aaron stood at the entrance, waiting. He fired. 1, 2, 3. Each hit precise, each movement perfect. The corridor became a death zone. The enemy faltered, then broke apart, retreating as fast as they could. Alia moved closer to help, checking armor plates and wounded soldiers. She saw Aaron adjust his armor again, checking each joint, each strap. He looked tired but calm. The tattoo on his side, hidden, pulsed faintly under stress. It was subtle, but alive. The unit leader's voice came over the comm. "Baddest," Aaron answered simply. Still holding, the officer's voice wavered. "How? You should have been overrun." Aaron did not respond. He did not need to. The corridor was safe, for now. Elsewhere, in the command hall, panic was rising. Sensors showed more enemy forces approaching faster than expected. Aaron's performance was noted, even in the chaos. One officer reported, "Earthborn human holding key corridor." Commanders exchanged worried glances. Alia stayed near the corridor, silent, watching him. She had questions about the tattoo, about his skill, about how he moved without fear, but she did not ask. Not yet. Survival came first. Aaron finally allowed himself a moment to breathe. His side ached under the damaged plate, his leg burned from earlier hits, but the enemy was pushed back. The corridor was held. Larger enemy fleet moving in to assault the station. Aaron glanced at the viewports. The dark shapes of ships loomed in space, numbers that no ordinary human should face. The tattoo under his armor pulsed slightly, warning him. A memory, a warning, a signal. Aaron adjusted his armor again, making sure each plate fit. Every tool, every weapon, every piece of metal was ready. He did not fear. He was not just a soldier. He was human, and he remembered. The corridor behind him held survivors. Ahead, the enemy would return, stronger, faster. Aaron stepped forward, leading the small group, moving like a shadow through smoke and fire. Each movement careful, each step calculated. Every enemy who stepped in his path learned quickly that this human was not to be underestimated. Alia followed, silently repairing, silently watching. She knew the tattoo was not decoration. She knew the human carried history in his skin, and she realized slowly that this fight was far from over. The station shuddered again, louder this time. Explosions rocked nearby decks, smoke poured from broken panels. Every system screamed for attention, and somewhere in the chaos, the enemy noticed something strange. A human, small, precise, unstoppable. Smoke and dust filled the corridors as Aaron moved deeper into the station. The air was thick with the smell of burnt metal and something else he could not name. Every step was careful, every breath measured. The station shuddered as more boarding pods hit the outer hull. The sounds of battle echoed far off, mixing with alarms and the screams of creatures from many worlds. Aaron's small group of survivors followed silently. Each was exhausted, scared, but alive. Aaron checked their numbers, scanning every shadow as they moved. The corridor ahead was narrow, damaged in parts, and lined with debris, perfect for slowing attackers. He paused at a junction, listening. The hum of the station's failing systems filled the silence. Then, distant, the sound of heavy footsteps. Enemies moved closer, faster than before. Aaron adjusted his armor quickly, pressing each plate into place. He did it without thought, a practiced motion. Beneath the armor, the tattoo pulsed faintly, as if alive. It reminded him of old wars, old lessons, survival at all costs. Alia followed, carrying her repair kit. She helped where she could, fixing broken panels or reinforcing doors with emergency tools. Her eyes never left Aaron. She had seen humans fight, but nothing like this. Calm, precise, and terrifying in its quiet control. The first enemies came through a damaged hatch. Tall, armored, moving fast. Aaron fired. One fell, another stepped into view. Another shot. Down it went. The corridor was narrow, so every enemy that came had no room to dodge. Aaron moved like a shadow, striking and retreating without pause. One enemy, larger and faster than the others, charged forward. Aaron ducked under a swing, rolled to the side, and fired. The enemy faltered but did not fall. It swung again. Aaron's armor took the impact, denting under the force. He fired another shot. The enemy collapsed, heavy metal clanging on the floor. Alia moved closer, repairing minor armor damage on the surviving soldiers. Her hands shook. Fear and awe mixed in her chest. She watched Aaron, adjusting his plates again, checking every strap. He seemed calm, but she could see the strain in the way he moved. The tattoo pulsed faintly beneath the armor, and she realized it was not just a mark. It was a history, a warning, a reminder of what humans could do when pushed beyond limits. The corridor behind them filled with more survivors. Alien soldiers, humans and hybrids, all shaken, all wounded. Aaron did not stop. He directed them, leading them through the damaged halls, guiding them toward a safer sector. Every order he gave was precise, clear, without hesitation. Suddenly, a side hatch burst open. More enemies poured in. Aaron stepped forward, moving like water through the corridor. He struck with perfect timing. Shots hit armor and flesh alike. The enemies fell before they could react. Each movement of his body was controlled, deadly, a dance of survival. The older alien officer who had recognized the tattoo earlier saw him again. He whispered to another about forbidden war records, about Earthborn warriors trained in forgotten conflicts. These humans were not weak. They were living weapons, and their marks were warnings of the storm they carried inside. Aaron overheard nothing. He only focused on the threat ahead. He adjusted his armor once more, checking plates and straps, making sure every joint was secure. He knew the enemy would push again, stronger this time. He also knew he could hold the corridor, buy time for the station's defenses, and protect the survivors behind him. The next wave was faster, smarter. They tried to flank him, move around to cut off the survivors. Aaron anticipated. He fired, hit, and moved, always calculating, always precise. The corridor became a trap. The enemies faltered, then retreated. Only a few made it past, and they did not survive long. Alia moved forward, staying close to Aaron, helping where she could. She repaired minor damage on armor and walls, keeping paths clear. She whispered to herself, "Stay safe, stay safe." Her eyes never left the human soldier who seemed untouchable. The tattoo, hidden beneath the armor, pulsed faintly again. She wondered what it meant. She wanted to ask, but now was not the time. Farther down the corridor, the survivors regrouped. Aaron checked them quickly, counting, noting injuries, assessing their ability to continue. He moved to the entrance of a wider junction, where enemy fire was weaker, but more numbers could come through. He adjusted his armor plates one last time, making sure each fit perfectly. His rifle was ready. His mind was calm. The station shook violently. Explosions echoed through nearby decks. Smoke poured from broken panels. Alarms blared. Sensors flickered. Somewhere far away, command tried to coordinate defenses, but communication was slow, fragmented. The enemy was moving faster than expected. They wanted the station. They wanted humans alive. Aaron led his small group into a side corridor, narrower, damaged, but better for defense. Each step was careful, each movement controlled. The survivors followed, trusting him, because he moved without fear, without hesitation. He checked every corner, every shadow, anticipating threats before they appeared. Another group of enemies approached. Aaron waited, listening, timing his strikes. He fired once, twice, 3 times. Enemies fell. The corridor became a barrier of death. He moved like a ghost through the smoke, striking without pause. Each shot, each motion, precise. Each movement calculated, damaged. Door just in time, keeping a group of enemies out. She glanced at Aaron. He adjusted his armor again, checking each plate, each strap. He looked tired, but calm. The tattoo beneath his armor pulsed again, reacting to his heartbeat. She realized then that this mark was more than a warning. It was part of him, part of the skill, the calm, the deadly precision he carried. The survivors reached a junction. Aaron positioned them strategically, using the damaged walls and debris for cover. He fired, moved, and repeated. The enemy faltered. They did not understand the human. They underestimated him. Suddenly, a distant blast shook the corridor. Part of the ceiling collapsed behind them. Dust and debris filled the air. Aaron did not pause. He led the group forward, through smoke and fire, toward a safer sector, each step careful, each motion controlled, each action precise. The command hall received reports. Sensor readings showed the human soldier holding key corridors. His movements were noted. The tattoo had been spotted partially by a few officers. Recognition passed between them. Earthborn humans like this were dangerous. Trained in wars long forgotten. Marks were warnings. Survivors, especially ones marked like this, were not to be underestimated. Alia stayed near the group, repairing where she could, helping the wounded. Her eyes never left Aaron. She wanted to ask about the tattoo, about the skill, about the calm and deadly precision, but she did not. The station was under attack. Survival came first. The station shuddered again, louder, stronger. Explosions rocked nearby decks. Smoke poured into corridors. Every system screamed for attention. And somewhere in the chaos, the enemy realized something. A human. Small, precise, unstoppable. One who moved like a shadow, struck like lightning, and survived where others would fall. The fight was far from over. Aaron adjusted his armor again, checked his rifle, and moved forward. The survivors followed. Each step counted. Each moment was crucial. The tattoo beneath his armor pulsed faintly, a hidden warning of the storm humans could bring when forced to survive. And the station, battered and broken, depended on him. The station trembled as new enemy boarding pods crashed into outer sections. Alarms blared, and lights flickered across corridors. The air was thick with dust, smoke, and the metallic scent of burning circuits. Every creature on Haven Ring moved with urgency, some frozen in fear, others running to save lives. The corridor was narrow, but it provided cover. Each step he took was careful, each movement precise. His rifle was ready, his armor adjusted with practiced hands. Beneath it, the tattoo pulsed faintly against his side. It did not burn, but it reminded him of the training he had endured, the wars humans had survived, and the survival he must now ensure. Alia followed, repairing damaged panels, reinforcing doors, and helping wounded soldiers. She kept close to Aaron, noting the faint pulsing under his armor. Questions about the tattoo formed in her mind, but the chaos of battle left no time for them. Survival came first. Suddenly, a group of enemy soldiers burst from a side hatch, heavier than before, with glowing weapons and sharp edges. Aaron fired first. One down, then another. The narrow corridor prevented them from moving freely. Aaron used it to his advantage, moving with silent precision, striking without hesitation. One enemy was larger, stronger, and more aggressive. It swung with brutal force. Aaron dodged, rolled, and fired. The shot hit the chest plate. The enemy staggered, then fell. Aaron adjusted his armor quickly, checking plates and straps, ensuring every joint was secure. The survivors behind him watched, astonished. The human moved like a shadow, striking with deadly skill, yet never panicking, never shouting. He gave orders quietly, clearly, and they followed. Trust came naturally. Farther ahead, the corridor opened into a junction. More enemies were moving in, trying to flank Aaron and his group. He positioned the survivors strategically, using damaged walls and debris for cover. He fired, moved, and repeated. The enemies faltered, then retreated. Only a few escaped, and those did not last long. An older alien officer, limping from earlier injuries, whispered to another officer about the tattoo. He had seen it before in Forbidden War records. Humans marked with these tattoos were survivors of ancient wars, trained when humanity had no allies and no mercy to expect. They were living weapons, and the mark on Aaron was a warning of the power humans could bring. Aaron did not react. He did not need to. His mind was focused on the threat ahead. The tattoo beneath his armor pulsed faintly, reminding him of limits he had learned to push beyond. The enemy would come again, stronger this time, and he would be ready. Alia repaired a damaged door just in time, keeping a group of enemies out. She moved closer to Aaron, helping where she could. Her hand shook. She had seen soldiers fight before, but never with this calm, this deadly precision. She realized that the tattoo was not just decoration. It was part of him, part of his skill, part of his ability to survive. The station shook violently. Explosions rocked nearby decks. Smoke poured from broken panels. Alarms screamed. Sensors flickered. Command tried to coordinate defenses, but communication was slow and broken. The enemy was moving faster than expected. They wanted the station. They wanted humans alive. Aaron led the survivors into a side corridor, narrow and damaged, but better for defense. Each step was calculated, each movement controlled. He checked corners, listened for sound, anticipated attacks before they arrived. His rifle was ready. His mind was calm. Another wave of enemies approached. Aaron waited, timing his strikes. He fired once, twice, 3 times. Each shot hit precisely. The enemies fell before they could react. The corridor became a death trap. Aaron moved like a ghost through the smoke, striking with deadly precision. Alia repaired armor and walls, keeping paths clear. Her eyes never left Aaron. She wanted to ask about the tattoo, about his calm, about the deadly skill he displayed. But the battle allowed no questions. Only action. Only survival. The survivors reached a junction where Aaron positioned them carefully. Using debris, walls, and shadows, he prepared for the next attack. He fired, moved, and repeated. The enemies faltered again, unable to understand the human who struck like lightning and survived when others would fall. Suddenly, a blast rocked the corridor. Ceiling panels collapsed. Dust and debris filled the air. Aaron did not pause. He led the group forward, moving through smoke and fire toward a safer sector. Each step was careful, each action precise, each decision critical. Command reported sensor readings of the human soldier holding key corridors. Recognition passed among officers. Humans like this were dangerous. The tattoo had been partially seen by some. Earthborn humans trained in ancient forgotten wars were not to be underestimated. Alia stayed close to Aaron, repairing damage and aiding the wounded. Her eyes never left him. She realized that the tattoo beneath his armor pulsed with more than history. It pulsed with skill, with focus, with the deadly efficiency of humans pushed to the limit. She wanted answers, but knew the time would come later. The station shuddered again. Explosions rocked the decks. Smoke poured into corridors. Every system cried for attention. The enemy now realized something. A human, small, precise, unstoppable. One who moved like a shadow, struck like lightning, and survived where others would fall. The fight was far from over. Aaron adjusted his armor again, checked his rifle, and moved forward. The survivors followed, trusting him completely. Each step was crucial. Each moment counted. The tattoo beneath his armor pulsed faintly, a hidden warning of what humans could unleash when forced to survive. And the station, battered and broken, depended on him to hold. The station trembled violently as larger enemy ships moved into firing range. Explosions rocked decks, sending metal and debris tumbling. Alarms shrieked through every corridor. The survivors moved as one, following Aaron, who led with calm precision through smoke and chaos. Each step was calculated, each movement controlled. The tattoo beneath his armor pulsed faintly, a reminder of history, of survival, of human strength in the face of impossible odds. Alia stayed close, helping the wounded and repairing broken systems where she could. Her hand shook, but she did not let fear stop her. She watched Aaron adjust his armor repeatedly, checking every plate, every joint. He looked calm, almost unfeeling, yet his presence inspired confidence. The survivors trusted him, because he moved with purpose and skill beyond what any of them had ever seen. The enemy launched boarding pods in greater numbers. They swarmed the station, attempting to breach key corridors and disrupt the defenses. Aaron positioned the survivors strategically, using walls, debris, and damaged panels for cover. He fired, moved, and repeated, each shot precise, each movement deadly. The corridor became a trap, a gauntlet for the enemy to face. Many fell before they could even react. One enemy, larger and faster than the rest, charged down a side corridor. Aaron dodged a heavy swing, rolled, and fired. The enemy staggered, then collapsed against the wall. Aaron adjusted his armor again, checked his rifle, and moved forward, leading the survivors deeper into the station. The tattoo beneath his armor pulsed, stronger now, reacting to his heightened focus and the extreme danger around him. Alia repaired a damaged door just in time, holding off another group of enemies. She glanced at Aaron. He moved without hesitation, striking with deadly precision, guiding survivors through chaos. His calmness was unnerving, yet inspiring. The tattoo, hidden beneath the armor, seemed almost alive, a warning to any who dared oppose him. The station's command hall reported critical breaches. Sensors showed the human soldier holding key corridors. Officers whispered among themselves, recognizing the mark they had partially seen on his side. Earthborn humans trained in long-forgotten wars were rare, dangerous, and unstoppable when pushed to the edge. Aaron carried that history silently, letting skill and instinct guide him. The survivors reached a wide junction, battered but defensible. Aaron positioned them strategically, using debris and walls to block flanking paths. He fired, moved, and repeated. The enemies faltered, unable to anticipate the humans' deadly precision. One by one they fell or retreated, leaving broken armor and shattered weapons behind. Massive explosion rocked the corridor. Ceiling panels collapsed, sending dust and rubble tumbling. Aaron did not pause. He led the group forward, moving through the chaos, keeping them alive. Each step counted. Each decision mattered. The enemy would push again, but he would be ready. Far ahead, the main enemy force had made a critical error. They threatened Earth over open channels, revealing their arrogance. The tattoo on Aaron's side pulsed fully now, darkening under the armor. Restraints, fear, and hesitation failed him. He moved with unstoppable force. He struck from within the enemy-controlled sector, disabling systems, freeing prisoners, and sending navigation data to the station. Chaos erupted among the enemy ranks. Confusion and fear spread quickly. Aaron moved like a shadow, precise and lethal, turning the tide of battle without hesitation. Alia followed, helping where needed, but mostly watching. She saw the full scope of the human's ability, the deadly skill born of history and necessity. She understood now that humans were not fragile. They chose restraint. They could unleash destruction when forced to survive. The enemy fleet began to break apart as Aaron guided the survivors to safety and destroyed key systems. He moved efficiently, never wasting a shot, never hesitating. The tattoo beneath his armor pulsed faintly, as if acknowledging the completion of its purpose, a hidden warning to all who would oppose humanity. The survivors regrouped in the safer sector of the station. Aaron adjusted his armor one last time, checking each plate, each strap. He looked at the group silently. They understood. They were alive because of him. The station had survived because of him. Alia approached quietly, helping him repair minor armor damage. She did not speak at first, just adjusted his plates. Then she looked at him, studying the hidden tattoo, understanding at last the quiet strength it represented. It was not a threat unless someone forced it to become one. It was a warning, history, and power rolled into one. The station stabilized. Alerts faded. Smoke cleared. The survivors took a moment to breathe. They knew the galaxy had changed. Humans had shown a force that others could not underestimate. The legend of Earthborn warriors, marked with the tattoo of old wars, would spread rapidly across nearby systems. Aaron prepared to leave the station. His armor repaired, his rifle checked, he moved with calm purpose. Alia watched him go, silently acknowledging the truth. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The station hung above the gas giant, battered but alive. Outside, enemy ships fled, retreating in fear. The tattoo, hidden once more beneath armor, pulsed faintly, a quiet reminder of the storm humanity could unleash when survival demanded it. Aaron, the small, precise, unstoppable human, had changed everything.